Good morning, everyone. It's 9:40 a.m. and I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Building Operating Committee on March 26, 2000. Before we begin, please note this meeting is being recorded. Welcome to everyone who joins us here in person as well as those listening in on the phone. If you would like to provide a public comment at today's meeting, and if you have not done so already, please let Thomas in the back of the room or Justine on the call-in line know that the item you would like to speak on today. Madam Secretary, please begin by calling the roll.
Thank you, and good morning again, everyone. Starting with Director Cochran.
Here.
Devlin.
Here.
Judice.
Here.
Maston.
Here.
Barr. Present. Rabbits absent. Vice Chair Rodoni.
Here.
Chair Garbarino is absent. President Hill. Thank you. You have a quorum.
Okay, thank you.
You are also committing the whole.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
still committing on hold. So
All right.
also we have Directors Hernandez. Thank you. Yes, Parrish and Snyder are also.
Okay. Secretary, please continue by introducing the first item.
Thank you. First item is going to be agenda item number 3, and that's to approve actions relative to the award of contract number 2026B25 A62T Aspen Boom Lift Rental Services to Bridge Access Specialties LLC. Don Eberly is here to present the report. Go ahead, Don.
Thank you. Morning, Chair Cochran, members of the committee. I'm here this morning to recommend that the Building and Operating Committee recommend that the Board of Directors approve following actions relative to contract number 2026B025 A62T Aspen Boom Lift Rental Services. Number 1, approve the award of contract number 2026B025 to Bridge Access Specialties LLC of Springfield, Oregon, in an amount not to exceed $475,875 to provide an A62T boom lift with an equipment operator to provide under deck access at the Golden Gate Bridge, and also establish a 10% contingency for the contract in the amount of $47,588. Excuse me, with the understanding that sufficient funds are available in the fiscal year 25-26 Bridge Division operating budget to fund the estimated $523,463 in expenses under this contract. The district performs bridge inspections in accordance with Title 23 Highway Code of Federal Regulations, Part 650, so Part C, National Bridge Inspection Standards, which we call 23 CFR 650. So there are 4 types of bridge inspections that are typically performed, applicable to existing bridges. One of them is called non-redundant steel tension member inspection. Another one is close-up inspection. Another one is called routine bridge inspection. Another one is complex bridge element inspection. So in February 2025, Board of Directors authorized execution of a professional service agreement. It's number 2024-B14, Bridge Inspection Services with ATR Engineering Incorporated, to perform the 23 CFR 650 mandated inspections. And part of that scope included some in-depth inspections of some non-NSTM elements, including pedestals and the underside of the deck. Due to the current lack of an access system, that's why it was included in those services. There are 14 pedestals. They're approximately 16.5 inches tall on top of the floor beams. They basically are little columns. They transfer the load from the roadway and the deck onto the columns, the floor beams, which then go out to the suspender ropes and the main cable. In the suspension span, there's 4,164 of these pedestals. So the in-depth inspections have determined that some of these pedestals are in need of repair, they have some deterioration, and need to be replaced. And engineering department has developed work plans and procedures for removing and replacing it. We're working with our own in-house bridge division staff that are fabricating the pedestals. And then we have a work plan where we go and provide temporary access to the floor beams. Then painters go out there and do some abatement work, and then the jacks are installed, pedestals are removed, new pedestals are installed, finish painting, and then the access is removed. So the work is underway, it's progressing, but it takes time to do this work due to mainly providing the access. Access is difficult to get out there. So we determined that at some select pedestal locations, while we're waiting for the replacement permanent work to be done, we want to put in a redundant system adjacent to these pedestals of concern. So again, since there is no access system, engineering investigated different methods to get out there. And one of them was to try and find some equipment. We don't have any boom equipment, so but we did reach out to different operators and different vendors. And we found that the A62T Aspen aerial boom lift is capable of fitting on our bridge roadway and also going over our sidewalk. So typically, a lot of DOTs have these under bridge inspection, but they don't have sidewalk. We have a 10-foot sidewalk. So this particular piece of equipment can boom out 14 feet laterally from its wheel, could then go down 24 feet, could then extend 62 feet laterally underneath the bridge, could then boom up another 13 feet vertically, and then it's on a swivel that swivels 180 degrees, and you can
Who's going to design that?
So it's especially designed for this, and it fits on our bridge. Similar, like I said, to what other DOTs use. But it's a limited production. So we only found 4 vendors that actually carry this, and 3 of them are on the East Coast. We found 1 on the West Coast. And so they did provide a cost proposal for the services. The scope of services consists of providing this lift, also providing a licensed operator for the vehicle, maintaining the vehicle at the site, training some district staff in the use of the boom, because you can only put 2 people in the boom plus equipment. And then maintaining the equipment at the site, doing some training, lifting personnel over the sidewalk and going to these locations. We looked at the scope of work that we need to perform and estimated that we would need this for approximately 12 weeks on the bridge. They'll be working 8-hour shifts at nighttime because a lane closure is required. District staff will be performing the lane closure, but we'll also have a third party assisting due to resource shortages. Okay, so in accordance with Section 5, compared to negotiations of the district's procurement manual, in the event that we only receive 1 proposal to the RFQ, the cost estimate must be conducted to determine that the price is fair and reasonable. So we reviewed the proposal, compared it to our estimate. We also spoke with Caltrans to see how much their operation cost, and we determined that not to exceed amount for the 12 weeks, $475,875 is fair and reasonable. There is no contract-specific disadvantaged business enterprise or small business enterprise goal established, and the district manager of SBE compliance programs determined that Bridge Access Specialties LLC is not a DBE or an SBE. So staff recommends that the Building Operating Committee recommend that the Board of Directors authorize execution of contract number 2026B-025, A62T Aspen Boom Lift Rental Services to Bridge Access Specialties LLC, for amount not to exceed $475,875. Also recommend establishment of a 10% contract contingency in the amount of $47,588 be established in case there's any additional work or change of services that may develop while we are doing the inspections. Bridge Access Specialties LLC will be compensated monthly up to the amount not to exceed, and any additional shift or change scope of service will be paid for from the established contingency. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions the committee may have.
Thank you, John, for your presentation. Wow. Well, when I'm looking at the picture, I only see 1 person in the bucket, but you say, oh, hold 2 people.
Right.
And then they have to put those little pedestals out there.
Well, we won't be doing the pedestal, but this work is to put some jacks adjacent to the pedestal.
Or just jacks?
Yeah, so we're just putting some jacks to support, to have a redundant system next to our pedestals, which will give time for our own forces to then go out there, put up a better access system so they could do the removal and replacement.
Okay.
So our forces will go out in the bucket with some jacks, and they'll go up on top of them. So if you look at the photo where you see the pedestals, will be adjacent, 1 on each side of a pedestal of concern. And we'll also put some supports on the floor beam some stiffeners. That way there, the bridge will be in a, like I say, a redundant system until we have time to go and actually remove and replace the pedestal that are constructed.
So then we're gonna put our platform out there and then our men can work off that.
Correct.
Okay. All right, thank you, John, for that presentation. Any questions by the committee?
So at one point then we will replace the pedestals as part of the seismic retrofit phase 2, or?
No, this is, so in seismic retrofit, they're working on spans 1 and spans 4.
Right.
And spans 2 and 3 are not being done in contract 1, they'll be in contract 2. So in spans 1 and 4, the contractor for the seismic retrofit will be taking care of any pedestals that need to be replaced.
Okay.
In spans 2 and 3, the district is doing that right now because we have pedestals of concern. So we will be replacing those pedestals of concern, and the contractor in contract 1 will be doing the other ones in spans 1 and 4.
And then for some unforeseen reason, if this takes longer than 12 weeks, we can keep this amusement park ride.
Jared,
We're pretty confident that we will, we have probably about 60 to 80 pedestals that we're looking at.
Okay.
And so we think in the 12 weeks, we'll be able to get to all of those.
Thank you. Thank you.
If I may, 3 of your colleagues 2 months ago went on a tour. Director Hernandez organized it with directors Devlin and with Greg, and they went out and they saw before and afters, and so they saw new pedestals. So as John said, our staff fabricates the pedestals in the shop with drawings that John's staff provides to them. They set them out to be hot dip galvanized, and then our staff puts jacks in and removes a pedestal and replaces one. And for a while there, they're doing one a day. So our staff is very talented. You can do work. As John mentioned, though, this is about access and just basically belt and suspenders approach until such time they get out there. And later this year, we will be having Quick Deck installed on the main span for the first time. Those of you that went out on that access platform at various times, we call that Quick Deck. It's a system that we own, but we'll be doing a small contract for a starter kit, and then our iron workers will put all the rest of it up, and that'll happen later this year on the main span between the 2 towers, the areas that we refer to as spans 2 and spans 3.
Sabrina, you had it.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you, John, for your report. You said something that made a question mark pop up above my head. I don't know if y'all saw it, but you said something about third-party assisting is required due to resource shortages.
Or lane closure services,
Oh, I'm sorry?
lane closures,
Was that for lane closures?
traffic.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, yeah, traffic control services. So our forces are capable of doing that, and we will be using them, but we don't have unlimited labor force to do that. So looking at their workload, they said we'll be able to do probably about 50% of the lane closures, and we'll have to have another party assist with that.
Okay.
I might add, we also have brought out some additional iron workers on a temporary basis from the Union Hall Local 377 to supplement our permanent force for this peak workload. So just wanted to make sure that's aware of that also.
And also, thank you, Dennis, yes, for mentioning that tour. It was a fascinating tour, and I would encourage any of you to approach any staff to go out to any of the divisions. It's always fascinating. It's always great to meet our folks that make this thing happen every day, day in and day out. So encourage you all to do that. Thank you again, Dennis, and our engineering staff for hosting us that day. So this piece of, as my colleague says, amusement park equipment, it is pretty cool. When I was an electrician, one of the things that was really cool was to be able to operate some of this equipment. So I'm familiar with, certainly not this piece of equipment, but I do carry the badge of being able to operate a double knuckle boom without crashing into anything. Limited environments, very limited environments. But so yeah, I was excited to see the description and the imaging and all of that. But I did have some questions, and while I do know how to operate some of this equipment, I don't know about what they cost. And $475,000 seems like a big chunk of money for 12 weeks. So I'm wondering a couple of things. Is this something that is completely unreasonable for us to consider purchasing? And also, is it, is this something that could possibly take the place of some of the things that we depend on our traveler system underneath the bridge? What can you talk about the distinction between what this thing will do and what the traveler will do?
It's a useful tool. You do not want to own it. Something that you need for 12 weeks, once every 10 years. It's not something you want to buy because it'll just sit out here and rust. So it's prudent for us to rent it with an operator who's skilled in it that can assist our staff in this work. It's a great tool, but it's not one that we want to own. We own a lot of tools, but if you don't use it very often, it really doesn't make sense. Plus, when it's time to use it, then you got to find that person that 10 years ago operated it to say, do you still remember how to use this?
We have an operator on staff.
We have half dozen operating engineers that are part of our staff that operate a whole host of equipment, but this is not something that staff would ever recommend that we purchase. So just to get that out there, it's a great tool. And so, we're thrilled that we're able to, obtain it and use it for 12 weeks to get this vital work done. Generally for access for our maintenance forces, we want to give them what you walked on that day, QuickTech. We want to give them a platform that is safe, that you don't need to wear fall protection, that you have, handrails and toe boards, and it's a flat, smooth surface as much as we can. For inspections, it's different. On the main span, as part of the suicide deterrent system, they're fabricating as we speak travelers that will be installed on the main span. And so those will be used for inspection, though not for maintenance. And inspection needs are radically different than maintenance. Maintenance, you deal with, lots of blast grid and heavy pieces of equipment and stuff. So this U-bit, as they call it, under bridge inspection truck, is not something we would ever want to purchase. And if we ever had to purchase one, it would mean that we're way behind on something.
Okay, so completely distinct from the applications of the maintenance.
That's correct.
Maintenance travel deals. Okay, thank you.
Dennis, is that Bridge Access Specialties? Is that the company that owns this?
Pardon me?
Is it Bridge Access Specialties that is the company that?
Yes,
Where are they located? In
they're out of Oregon.
Oregon. Okay.
Uh,
Pretty.
Do they provide instructions for our people to learn how to operate that in the short term?
Right, so the services are for the truck with an operator.
Oh, with the, okay.
So the operator, because this truck, you don't have to put outriggers out, which is, outriggers usually take up space. So you can drive right up to the curb. And in addition, this truck is set up in such a way that once you're underneath the bridge and extended 62 feet, the operator can actually drive this truck while you're. So they come with an operator who knows how to do this.
I don't see too many hands going up.
Well, I got just going to be in the boom, because the boom itself, once you get in place, you're not always right where you want to be, right? So they could tell you to move forward and backward, but you have to elevate up and down and twist and around to get to the location you're at. So they're going to train us on that the first couple of weeks.
If that was a longer boom, we could paint the cables, couldn't we? All right.
Always thinking.
Any other questions by the Board of Directors? If not, that concludes our discussion. And on item 3, before we take our vote, is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on this item?
We have no speakers for this item.
Okay, thank you. How about even on the phone?
That's right, we have no speakers
No
on the
speaker.
phone either.
All right. May I have a motion on the agenda item number 3?
So moved.
Been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's a second. All right, I have a first and second. Madam Secretary, would you please take the roll call?
Thank you. We have a departure of Director Rodoni, so we're back to being a committee. So I'm going to vote on the committee members, starting with Director Cochran,
Yes.
Devlin,
Aye.
Giudice,
Yes.
Maston.
Aye.
Carr.
Hi, and thank you for the pictures.
Yeah.
You don't deal with this all the time. It's hard to understand how you're going to get that done. But thank you.
Director Rabbit is absent. Vice Chair Rodoni is left. Chair Garbarino is absent. President Hill.
Yes.
Thank you. That motion passes.
Okay, thank you, Madam Secretary. Please continue with the agenda.
We're going to continue on to item number 4, and that's to approve the award of contract, excuse me, number 2026 F031, Liwa Vessel 1 and 2 engines, gearboxes, and drivelines, and contract number 2026 F022, Liwa Vessel 1 and 2, water jet propulsion system. Mike Hoffman is here to present this report. Mike, please begin.
Yep, good morning, everybody, and thank you, Chair Cochran. At the November 21st, 2025 meeting of the Board of Directors, the Board adopted resolution number 2025-078, approving award of contract number 2025 F23 to Maverick Marine Incorporated for the construction of new Liwa-class ferries and approving the related project budgets for project number 1940, purchase new ferry vessel, and project number 2445, building replacement. Since that board action, staff has been working closely with Maverick Marine to finalize contract terms and conditions and to advance production engineering coordination for the first 2 vessels. And following that effort, the district issued notice to proceed to Maverick Marine on Friday, March 13th of this year. Thus, as part of that contract finalization process, staff determined that it is in the district's best interest to directly procure the propulsion package for the first 2 Liwa-class vessels as owner-furnished equipment, rather than leaving that procurement entirely with the shipyard. The owner-furnished equipment includes main engines, reduction gears, drive shafts, and propulsion water jets for the first 2 vessels. These are long lead, high value, and mission critical components of the vessel's propulsion system. So what's the rationale? There are several reasons for this approach. First, direct procurement gives the district better control over schedule for these critical long lead items. Second, it allows the district to establish direct end user relationships with these original equipment manufacturers and their authorized representatives, which will better position us for warranty support, commissioning, future parts procurement, and long-term service agreements. Third, this approach supports fleet standardization and long-term maintainability, which is especially important as these vessels become a core part of Golden Gate Ferry service. This approach also reduces the cost risk of the schedule impacts associated with shipyard markup, supply chain pass-through, and administration of proprietary propulsion equipment. At the same time, staff negotiated a corresponding reduction to the Maverick Marine contract for this owner-furnished driveline equipment. So sufficient funding remains available within the approved project budgets and no additional budget authority is required. The selected vendors are Northern Lights Incorporated as the MAN engine distributor for the United States West Coast. They will furnish the MAN propulsion engines, reduction gears, and drive shafts. And Hamilton Jet Americas will furnish the propulsion water jets selected for the Liwa-class design. These components are integral to achieving the required service speed, emissions compliance, and operational reliability for Golden Gate Ferry service. Accordingly, staff recommends that the Building and Operating Committee recommend that the Board of Directors approve award of contract number 2026 F031 to Northern Lights in the amount of $10,321,491 for the Liwa Vessel 1 and 2 engines, gearbox, and drivelines, and approve award of contract number 2026 F022 to Hamilton Jet in the amount of $2,655,168.95 for the Liwa Vessel 1 and 2 water jet propulsion systems. I'll also add that these engines that we're procuring, they are CARB, Commercial Hovercraft Amendment compliant engines. They're Tier 4 engines that come complete with the SCR, which our general manager spoke to at the Transportation Committee, so that stands for Selective Catalytic Reducer, as well as a DPF, diesel particulate filter. We were looking at an estimated reduction in about 85% of emissions. And as far as the particulate matter goes, approximately 95% of particulate matter reduction with that diesel particulate filter. And I'll stand by to answer any questions that the committee may have.
Thank you, Mike. Now that's for both the new vessels.
Yeah, so that's for, to be clear, that's for the Liwa, which is being procured as a new vessel to augment our fleet, and then the Del Norte replacement vessel that will replace the Del Norte.
So it is for 2 vessels.
It's two complete ship sets. That's correct.
That's six engines, I assume.
It is a total of 12 engines. So we have
12 engines.
There's 6 per vessel. If you go, I believe the staff report's got a. So that's So what you see in the staff report under that figure is you see one hull of a catamaran. So each vessel is going to have 2 of those hulls, right?
Okay. Okay. All right. Wow. All right. That concludes your your presentation. Are there any questions from the directors? Pretty good report, Mike. All right, that, with no discussion, how about online?
We have no speakers for this item online or in the room.
Okay, so if there's no discussion or comments, do I have a motion for item number 4?
So moved.
Been moved, is there a second? Second. Madam Secretary, would you please take the roll?
Thank you. Starting with Director Cochran,
Yes.
Devlin,
Aye.
Judiche,
Yes.
Maston.
Yes.
Parr,
Yes.
Rabbit's absent, Vice Chair Rodoni is absent, Chair Garbarino is absent. President Hill.
Yes.
Thank you. That motion passes.
Okay, thank you. We will continue with item number 5, which is an informational monthly report from board appointees on the Sonoma Marin Area Rail Transit Board. Director Parr, since you're the only one here, we expect a long half-hour report now.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I actually did not go to the SMART meeting, so if there's something missing here, I do apologize. It's the first one I've missed, I think, since I started. I'd like to call your attention to the agenda item in the board packet. I've noticed over time that none of you take notes when I'm talking, which is great, because if you look on the agenda item number 5, there's something in purple there, and that is, I'm told, is a live link to SMART. And what you can get on that live link is not only the general manager's report, which is what I'll report to you today, but you can also get something called On Track, which I think is their public relations newsletter. And it's really interesting. It changes every month, as it does with the SMART board meeting. So if you've forgotten all the good things I've said, you can look on the SMART website and it's there too. So Dennis sort of has already talked about this, but the big day is April 12th for mascots changes. SMART will increase its service by 19%. We'll have earlier trains, later trains, more midday trains. And Dennis didn't mention this, and I hope I don't get this wrong, but the ideal transfer window evidently is 5 to 10 minutes. So as you all work together, you tried to figure out who needed to do what so that that 5 to 10 minutes stayed for most passengers. In addition to that, we've expanded our schedule, and the Smart Connect shuttle has been updated. So it's taken many more rides than in the previous time. The second big thing is the Healdsburg extension is starting to be out in the open. There was an open house last Monday. May 8th is a project kickoff. If any of you are near Healdsburg and would like to go, say hooray. The good news is Giants season starts March 27th, which is Friday, which means our ferries will be full as well as our trains. The Giants give us all lots of ridership. Bike ridership is up 20%. We are actually adding bike capacity on our trains. We're adding 5 to 7 bikes a trip. So that's big when you look at the car and see how many there are. Of course, we always brag about how much we've grown. The Smart Pathway count is up 39%, and the Smart Connect, where they try to get from one place to the other on public transportation, is up 6%. I appreciate your time, appreciate your opportunity to represent us on SMART.
Thank you, Barb. Any questions of Barbara?
I have one.
Oh, Bert first.
Okay, just a quick comment.
Sure.
Great.
I knew I'd catch your ear on the bikes.
Take on the way it is.
Yes.
And what you said the last board meeting, this is a real indicator that there is good demand.
Absolutely. And bikes take up a lot of space, so it's a big deal
Yeah.
to try to get 6 to 8 more bikes on a train that already has a place for bikes, plus all the people.
The question is, what is that? At the station, do you have any bikes that you can take out?
I believe we do. They're rental bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Redwood Bike Share is the name of the
Yes.
vendor. It's at, in both counties. They have a hub at the Larkspur Ferry Terminal at the Larkspur Smart Station. And so it's a hub where people can check out bikes.
Yeah, I know about Larkspur, but I didn't know.
And they're at most of the smart stations have the Redwood Bike Share access.
Great, thank you.
Chris, you had a comment?
Yeah, quick question. Smart is also close to my heart. Love it. So when's the contract start on the Healdsburg expansion?
I'm not sure when the contract starts, but the kickoff is May 8th. So I would guess that the contract would probably be on the April agenda.
Would it be affected if the sales tax measure?
You know,
I think, from what I've heard, we're in a good position, but
I hope so.
I
And,
don't know if
you
it's
know,
like linked to that too.
the sort of thing that makes the papers is if I would say, gee, if the sales tax doesn't
That's what I'm
continue,
hoping.
I know, I will do
I'm
that.
kidding.
I know.
No, but I am.
I'm sure that there are behind the doors discussions, but we haven't had any open discussions about that, even in closed session.
Okay. But I'm excited that's gonna just make it grow even more. 'Cause Healdsburg
We're on
is such
a roll. I mean, we are a small agency and it's the little train that could, but we just keep making progress.
Use it. Thank you for your service.
Lots of it. Thank you. Thank you, Barb. Any other questions? That concludes our discussion on item number 5. Before we move on, is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on this item?
We have no speakers on item number 5.
Okay. Action, so we'll continue with item number 6, which is the status report on engineering projects, and John will present his report. John, please proceed.
Thank you. Good morning again. My written report is before you or in your package, and there's a few items I'd like to bring to your attention. First, the seismic retrofit project. Contractor is proceeding, continuing with their work plans necessary to move on to the site, performing training, environmental training that's necessary before they're allowed to go on the site, and other work plans. The SDS contractor is completely demobilized finally from the site. The district forces are also continuing work, removing the access platforms in span 4 on our side so that the seismic contractor can occupy that space. The contractor for the short-term bridge electrical system repair project, they're fully mobilized, and they started work this week. They're testing all the generators that will be used for when we do power shutdowns to replace the equipment at the 7 different locations where the repair will take place. And that work's continuing. The district received construction permit from BCDC for the construction of the South Toledo Ferry Terminal Improvements Project. This project's been going on for a little while. So that's a big milestone. The last remaining construction permit we need is from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. They are reviewing the permit right now. Once that's received, we'll be able to finalize the bid package. So hopefully this year we'll be able to advertise that project for construction. And then I wanted to talk about that the district completed its site-specific risk assessment for the Golden Gate Bridge to determine the probability of collapse due to a vessel impact. And this was done in accordance with the American Association of State Highway Transportation official methodology. That's AASHTO. So the risk assessment was performed. This was in response to a safety recommendation made by the National Transportation Safety Board as a result of the investigation into the collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Maryland. That collapse occurred 2 years ago today, March 26, 2024, 1:30 in the morning. 6 construction workers died in that incident. And that project, is still ongoing. They've done the removal, but they do not anticipate reconstruction for another couple of years, probably 2028 or 2029, about $2 billion for that project. But anyway, back to our bridge. The risk assessment concluded that Golden Gate Bridge has an annual frequency of collapse well below the AASHTO threshold. So any further work to investigate any strategies to reduce any probability of collapse are no longer necessary or required. I'd like to thank Steve Song of my staff, directing civil engineer. He was the one who led the charge on this. Got the consultant, did a lot of meetings with Coast Guard and others, our pilots in the Bay, and shepherd this all together and got the report finalized. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions on the rest of my report.
John, on that Baltimore Bridge, they said this morning it went from 2 billion to 5 billion. And does that include the new fenders that they're going to put in? Or do you know?
You know, it's a design build project.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah. Hewitt, I know, is doing it, so I don't know. It's going to have some sort of.
Oh, yeah.
System. I
Well,
don't know what the
we
system is they're
were
going to have.
criticized and we answered the call from the feds that our fenders were sufficient to take care of any issues as to see what we have up on the wall. But I'm just kind of curious what they're going to do in Baltimore. Jim?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought this up, John, because I was a little confused. It says in the middle of that paragraph on page 45 or 33, depending on which number you're looking at, acceptable maximum annual frequency of collapse of 0.0001. But then at the bottom, it says previous 5 years vessel traffic exceeds the minimum return period of 10,000 years for the bridge by a factor of 4. Are those numbers related? I mean,
So there's the 0.001 is the probability of collapse, and then there's the reciprocal is the return period. So that's where you get the 10,000 year return period. So you want to have a high period of return. So 4 times 10,000, we have a 40,000 year period of return for the most conservative level that we looked at. Looking at the just using the straight AASHTO methodology 2, we're at a 60,000 year return period probability of collapse. So we well exceed the allowable per the AASHTO method 2 methodology.
There probably won't be many of us around at that time, so. Thank you, John.
All right. Any other questions of John? If not, John, thank you very much for your report. There's no action associated with item 6. And is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on this item or address the committee?
We have no speakers for B&O on item number 6 or for the committee under public comment.
Thank you. With that, we've reached the end of our agenda. May I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
And I have a second. There are no objections. This concludes the meeting of the Building and Operating Committee. Thank you, colleagues. The time is 10:18.